Went to UCO, graduated in '96, and I majored in advertising marketing. And then, after graduation, every job I've had has had continuing education classes, so I've taken all of those that have become available to me. Well, the biggest one right now is I am the boss.
Yeah.
Every job that I've had up to this point, I wasn't self-employed, I worked for someone. So, I've had a job where I've had to clock in, clock out, and I'm not like that. Every day is a different view from the office. We have a lot of good views. We get to do a lot of events, and, that's the biggest thing that I like about it now is, I don't report to anybody. Well, I came from some big companies, so I had a janitor, I had an IT person, I had an HR person, I had all of those departments, and now it is a department of me. So, toilet clogs like we had this week, I get to handle it. I hate software updates, and I don't get to call an IT guy. I am the IT guy. So I think just, all the pressure's on my shoulders. Obviously to make sure all the employees are taken care of, and I have some money coming in at the end of the month, and that's the biggest challenge. Well, I'm not very good at it. I am a workaholic, but the good news is, so is my boyfriend, and I don't have any kids. So I try to take one day off a week. That's not very successful for me, but I manage to be the CEO of my household and run my company. So I'm doing something right. But yeah, I'm not very good at that. This is really where I wanted to be. I just wanted to be there probably sooner than I was. My last job at Bob Howard Auto Group, I was the marketing director, and I think I went off emotion instead of like where I wanted to be. I loved my boss. I loved who I worked with and for and everything, but it really wasn't my long-term goal. But I had great staff. It was a great job, and it was a guaranteed income each 1st and 15th. And now that I'm self-employed, you wake up every day and you may not have a photo job, booked or income coming in. So, you're also a sales rep. And so I think it was just the fear of the unknown and not having a guaranteed income. But, it took me a couple of years. It was hard. Never missed a meal, but, it was nice to have a guaranteed income and insurance and all that stuff. But I'm happy where I'm at right now. I would have probably tried to believe in myself more that I could do being self-employed sooner than I did. I've had a great career though, so it's hard to say that I'd changed a specific thing. I probably would have taken more photography classes at a younger age. I had some, but I'm talking about more lighting and the studio experience. But that's probably what I would change the most. Absolutely. I've had a great career. I've done pretty much everything in the marketing side, as work at an agency, work at TV, radio, the social aspect of it, from being a media buyer to a media planner to selling media. And then obviously now, I still do social media management. I also do TV buys for 3 car dealerships in Texas. And I also get to plan, but then at the end of the day, I own my own photography company that has, multiple arms in it. And so it's just fun, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't have a diverse background in media planning, media buying, being a salesperson, working in the agency, working at the media outlet, so I want to change it. That my dad was always right. You know, I have had a lot of good mentors in my life, and you know, when I was 20 to 27, I kind of knew it all, you know, and I made some mistakes and learned from them, and you know, it cost me a lot of money. Some of those mistakes did, but I just wish I could go back and, you know, if my dad told me not to do something, I would listen, because my dad is a genius. I mean, I've always believed that, more so today than I did at a younger age. But, you know, he gave me the advice to, you know, always live off like your base salary, especially if you're in sales, which I was my first job. And, you know, always do the right thing. And sometimes I didn't do the right thing according to everyone else. I just thought it was right according to Jamie. And it cost me, but I would listen to my dad and probably my mentors more, because they gave me some good advice. And it's hard making the phone call that you're right and I was wrong. So that's probably the biggest life lesson I wish I could go back and redo. Well, you know, I'll always encourage everyone to get a college degree, just because it gives you the discipline and the piece of paper, you know, to excel in your career. But I mean, I studied newspaper and you see where a newspaper is, and you know, my studio today, I mean, is all digital, and I grew up in the darkroom. So it's changed a lot. We didn't even have the World Wide Web in college. We had the Dewey Decimal System. My first job, I didn't have a cell phone. You know, we had pagers. So it's changed a lot, and it's fast paced, and you know, we live in a now industry, you know, a now world, and you know, it was nice having a pager and finding a payphone and calling them when you got around to it. You know, so there's just so many distractions now, and I've adapted, but it's been hard. Well, I mean, it's just change. I mean, you have to be able to adapt to change, and it's hard. You know, because you'll sit in front of a client today and you'll give them an advertising plan or a media recommendation, and if you don't massage it and stay on top of it, I mean, there's someone else that will. And you know, I hate to say it, but back in the 90s, I mean, you could present an advertising plan really for a year. Yeah, you have to, you know, look at it and make sure the campaign's still correct and everything, and the theme that they want to run. So example, like truck month's always going to be in October for Ford, you know. But now, I mean, you have to look at the keywords every single day, and you have to be in their business every single day, and that's a difficult task, because this job, not that it was easy, but I mean, there's nothing easy about media now. I have, I mean, but I grew up in a industry that's 95% men, you know, and they work a lot, and they aren't home with their spouses, you know, and so when you get a 20-something coming in and selling them something, I mean, you are harassed, and you know, that, you know, in my 20s, I mean, it wasn't uncommon to be harassed every single day. But I also knew that I chose that profession. I was going to work with men, and did it bother me sometimes? Yes, but I mean, you develop a strong backbone, and at the end of the day, sit at the table with just the guys, and they knew that they could say things, and you know, I would just laugh it off. So it never bothered me. Now, in my 40s, having 20-somethings work for me, it's a different ballgame. You know, I don't tolerate it. And I will remove my females from a situation that I feel as if they're being harassed or will be harassed. I would rather be in that situation than my employees. So you see, I mean, it's everywhere. No, I don't believe they trust the media at all. I mean, I feel like, even our political views today, they turn it any way they want to turn it. But the media's, it's not the way it used to be. People used to believe what was in the newspaper because it was in black and white. Still to this day, I will believe that the newspaper was the most trusted media back in the 90s. Today, obviously, the newspaper really doesn't even exist, and it's old news once it gets on your doorstep. I feel like the media gets blamed for a lot of things just because things are posted on social media that have been photoshopped or, stretched the truth or, swayed the way someone sees it or wants to believe it if they hate the president or hate, a senator or, a leader. So, no, I don't feel like people trust the media. But, as a media buyer, I have clients now that used to buy 100% news and they don't buy the news at all. So, there's been a big shift in how people buy and how people perceive the media, and I feel like it's only going to get worse.